Hello everyone, today we'll be talking about the documentary Sasquatch, Man, Myth, or Monster, and this is a documentary by Missing 411 author David Paulides, and I'm going to be bashing David a lot in this video for a multitude of reasons and a lot of things they talk about in this documentary. So let's get into it. So David Paulides is a forcibly retired police officer who was forced to resign after he was convicted of, or not convicted, but he did some fraud and they forced him to retire from his work. Everyone in the Bigfoot community loves this guy, but I'm just gonna say my dad was a cop and I would know a dirty cop. I know a dirty cop when I see one. So, yeah, let's get into this video. So, I've already seen this documentary a few months ago, and we are just shy of 3 minutes into the documentary, and since I've already seen it, to be honest, you saw it all. They don't really talk much about anything new in this documentary per se, but this documentary is very on the woo-woo side of things. So, yeah, I mean, first of all, it's a very well-made documentary. I'll give credit where credit is due, but yeah, just this leans into the woo-woo way too much.
Is it a flesh and blood ape, or is it something that lives in the spirit world?
They make this documentary like they already know the answer to this question. So, yeah, that's always good. Not really. It's pretty, I don't say unscientific, but it's more like confirming your own biases, really. I mean, I don't really like to attack people, but having M.K. Davis in this documentary, I don't know, the past few years M.K. Davis kind of has became a little, I don't know, he really spends way too much time on the Patterson footage, and he claims other creatures in the footage, and then he tries to push out the what's it called, the Bluff Creek Massacre conspiracy theory. So I don't know. I guess there's okay to have M.K. Davis on here, but I don't know. I feel like there's better people that could have been in the documentary.
Believes it's an ape, gorilla. School of thought is it's multidimensional.
For lack of a better term, we'll call it interdimensional.
Multidimensional entity? It could possibly be. I'm about 99.9% sure.
No disrespect to Scott Carpenter. He was probably one of the better Bigfoot researchers, especially amateur-wise. But this is just because I'm autistic and I need to understand this better. But this is by no means attacking him. But when he says probably, if they're interdimensional or whatnot, and then he's 99.9% sure that they do all these abilities, I'm pretty sure you just answered the question. That's more than a probably. But I don't know, he does go pretty deep out in the mountains of Tennessee, so I don't know, maybe he has experienced weird things, but we'll keep going. Right now we're talking about the Zero sounds and Ron Moorhead, the one guy who was there when they recorded the sounds along with Al Berry. So right now they are talking about how there's a quantum connection with Bigfoot, and we'll go on from here.
We thought they were just some kind of unknown type of gorilla that was out there. They're more than that.
I'm gonna be honest, they abuse quantum mechanic terminology a lot in this documentary. Now, I didn't study physics per se in university, I studied mathematics, and my specialty was relativity. But along the way, I did learn quite a bit on quantum mechanics. Not like a large amount, but just enough to understand they're really abusing the terminology of the terms in quantum mechanics. They also talk about UFOs a lot in this documentary. And the one thing about UFOs is I am 99% sure most alien and UFO sightings are just military aircraft. Like, you would be surprised on how advanced like NASA and the military are when it comes to technology. And the one thing people don't realize is America's defense budget's like almost $1 trillion, and if I am correct on this figure, about half of it is research and development. So, yeah, and the stuff that goes on with DARPA and stuff like that. So, I really take any claim about UFOs with a big bag of salt, to be honest, because honestly, I feel like most people are seeing I feel like most people are seeing military aircraft and stuff like that. Then again, people will look at Venus and think it's a UFO, so I don't know.
And it dissolved away just like on Star Trek.
They do talk about the Bigfoots cloaking and teleporting and going through portals, but it's like, I don't know, it feels like every account of a Bigfoot cloaking, going through a portal, or teleporting, every time they do it, it's different. Like, if they could cloak, they're either completely invisible or they're like a shimmer. Or if they go through a portal, they walk into one, or they come out one or something, or they just disappear, or they cloak. It's just so many things that don't add up. And I'm pretty sure people are gonna say, oh, it's because they're spiritual or in touch with the quantum realm, but I really feel like that's just a cop out when talking about things like this. Like, if you may know, I'm an Aber, and I am confident that Bigfoots are primates. So, one thing I would like to add before we go on is in this documentary, they try to lump every story of a Bigfoot having supernatural abilities in native folklore into just like one single like universal medium when it comes to all of the Native American stories. There are many names of Bigfoot creatures in Native American stories and in the Native Canadian stories. And the thing about that is not everyone says they're supernatural. Like, some say they're something that's always been there, like just another animal. Some say they're another tribe of people. So yeah, it's just they really and very disrespectfully disregard many other Native American stories.
We were all told that Bigfoot was an ape.
Yes.
And those sketches didn't represent an ape to me.
What the F word is David talking about? Like, they don't look like an ape. Newsflash. Even if they do look like people, humans are apes. We are, what are we? Homo sapien. So, yeah, we are apes. We are great apes. We're one of the... Actually, I don't know how many species of great apes there are. But we're one of the species of great apes. So, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, and I think gibbons. I'm not 100% sure. But humans are one of the great apes. So, I don't know what David is on about.
Kushtaka or Sasquatch is an ape or a gorilla?
I've never heard any Tlinkits or Haidas discussing Gagits, wild people, or Kushtakas from Hutzland, anything like a Sasquatch as anything other than a wild person.
So, David does his usual detective, what's the word? Not, like trickery. He does this usual detective trickery where he asks a question where he where it immediately sets up some kind of bias or whatnot. So when he asked Dr. Alley about the if the natives in Alaska had the thought of the Bigfoots as apes or gorillas, well, the thing is they wouldn't really have a word for those anyway, so that kind of throws out the argument right there and then. And obviously they somewhat look like people, like they walk on two legs, so of course they're gonna say, oh, these are just people. The part about them trading with the natives is pretty interesting, and there's actually a bunch of other Native American stories about that.
Bigfoot's perceived as both an ape gorilla in the physical sense and in the spiritual multidimensional sense as a crossover being from multi-dimensions.
The thing about this documentary is Bigfoot is either a gorilla or an ape, or it's interdimensional. There is no in between in this documentary, and I'll talk about this more when they talk about it again. So according to my YouTube statistics, everyone, or not everyone, but most people who watch my channel are from the United States. And let this be a lesson. If you live anywhere in the world, lock your fucking doors. Most break-ins only happen because someone leaves a door or a window unlocked. And yeah, just lock your doors. Like, I don't know why anyone who lives in the United States would not lock their doors. Like, I don't care how safe you think where you live, lock your doors.
Both me and Stan are very, very good trackers. In this case, we have a 5-foot stride from heel to heel. We get to a point where the tracks disappear. They're gone. We lost the tracks in trackable ground.
Okay, so this guy is talking about how they were following a trackway of a Sasquatch that goes on for a mile, and then these tracks just disappear out of nowhere in trackable ground. So what does he mean by trackable ground? Like, he says he's a good tracker, and I'm just coming at this out of the outsider. I don't know much about tracking. Yeah, I could look at it, and notice, oh, this place is indented. Something must have stepped here. I can't tell necessarily how old something is, but I'm probably a little bit higher than the average person when it comes to be able to track footprints, and when I mean a little bit higher, I mean a hair higher, like barely more. And I'm just trying to be humble about it because I don't really know much about tracking. But when he says untrackable ground, like, what do you mean by that? Like, does it mean the ground you step on could make tracks? Doesn't mean if there isn't a track on the trackable ground, doesn't mean something didn't teleport. Countless times I'm out hiking and I'll find just one deer track. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. Where did this deer track just come from? Or, better instance, the raccoon tracks I find all the time in the mud and creek beds, they just appear out of nowhere. There's just like one there, and it's like, that doesn't mean a raccoon left one track in one area or a few tracks in the one area. It doesn't mean it teleported out of there. Like, there could be many reasons why something would stop making tracks in one area. So in this part of the documentary, there's an ambulance driver talking about how a Bigfoot crossed in front of them and their ambulance just shut off, like, all the electronics. And I am certain that every vehicle made after a certain point has some sort of computer in it, especially ambulances with all the medical equipment in it. And you would figure they would show like a log, like a timestamp log or something, where it would show that everything shot off at once. But they never show that, so we just have to take their word for it.
It's almost like a political division between Democrats and Republicans.
It's kind of funny. I don't like talking about politics because you're gonna piss off somebody either way. But I don't think the woo-woo side of Bigfoot and the flesh and blood part of Bigfoot is super polarized as politics is in America. But whatever.
We can't quite grasp yet. They can do things that nobody would ever expect any other form of.
So this part of this documentary shows a cloaked figure or something. And they automatically say it's a Bigfoot, or heavily imply it's a Bigfoot, but I didn't go to college just to see something, not know what it is, and then say it's something else. By induction and deductive reasoning, I could say what it's not, but to say what it is way more difficult than knowing seeing what it was. So to see a cloaked figure and automatically say, oh, it was a Bigfoot, in my opinion, is very lazy, academically speaking. Now, this story has a guy talking about how a juvenile Sasquatch was talking, or seemingly talking to a larger one, and then the larger one walks into a portal. Now, if they could just teleport, why would they even need a portal? So that's the one confusing thing. But someone is definitely going to say, oh, I don't understand, but maybe I don't understand, but I'm open to this because as I said, I went to college. I am trying to question what I believe and to question what I already know. So if I get evidence of what I don't know, if I ever see something that I don't know that I thought already knew, I would expect to question it and change my beliefs on observation. But as I said earlier, they change the how they cloak and how they teleport and how they move. It doesn't make any sense. And you're telling me these elusive creatures are comfortable enough to go in a portal in front of somebody. I don't know.
The mitochondrial DNA came back to a human female 12 to 15,000 years in the Middle East. The nuclear DNA shows the male side of the equation, and in 352 billion base pairs in GenBank, which is the worldwide receptacle of DNA, it had never been matched.
So I'll be talking on my ass mostly when I'm discussing this part about the Ketchum study, where Dr. Melba Ketchum, a veterinarian out of Texas, she did a Sasquatch genome study, and they were getting hair samples with Scott Carpenter and David Politis, and they found a hair sample they had the female component of Middle Eastern 15,000 years ago, but no male component. Now, I don't understand biology enough to even guess where they mean by that. How could a species have human female DNA but not any known male component DNA on the paternal side? I'm a little confused on this because that would heavily imply, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm talking about on this, but I just wanted to bring it up, that this is a human female, and then the male was a different species. That's what it seems like to me. They don't really go into detail much about this part, or trying to explain what they mean by this, but I think that's one problem I have with this documentary, is that part. And the Ketchum study is a little sketchy to begin with.
It's hard to say that Bigfoot is just a flesh and blood creature.
All they exposed were a few witness statements, some video that could honestly be anything, and the trackway on the trackable ground. So that is not enough evidence to say Bigfoots are interdimensional. Like, I don't know how a detective could jump to that conclusion by surpassing many logical steps. And I really hate the word to use to say logically, because logic doesn't really follow through with things normally, especially in quantum mechanics, relativity, and stuff like that. And it's just he just really jumps to the conclusion that Bigfoots are interdimensional. They don't even attempt to answer the question. They made this documentary with the premise that Bigfoots are interdimensional. And I have no problem if you think that. But if you're trying to educate people on this, you have to be more convincing on this. You can't just say, we had these sightings, let's say 5 pieces of evidence, that therefore they're interdimensional. That's not how it works.
They're high intellect, and they have special abilities.
So yeah, Bigfoots are intelligent. They are probably as intelligent as humans are. Now, when I mean intelligent as humans, I would say like average human IQ. It's like, I don't know, 90 to 100. I would say Bigfoots are somewhere in that range. No, they don't use tools. No, they don't do calculus. No, they don't launch satellites into space. But what they're really good at is socializing, communicating, and hiding. And what they try to portray Bigfoot as is way more intelligent than humans. So yeah, there are different forms of intelligence. Like, I am good at math and science, but I am dog water at speaking and writing, and as you can tell, I'm like bad at those, and I'm also not very good at reading because I'm dyslexic and I just don't really absorb information that well when I read. I'm an auditory learner. And there's people who are extremely talented artists, and there's people really good at biology, and there's people like as I'm saying is like, doesn't mean you're not good at math or science. Doesn't mean you're dumb. Like some people are probably terrible at math, but they're probably a leading expert in biology or anatomy or whatever, or even living outdoors in the wild. Like, arguably, like, people lost their skills to survive in nature. So like, me, who's been through the ringer, I went through college and shit. If you throw me out in the woods to survive, I'm not gonna last that long. I'll probably last a little bit longer than most people, but I'm not gonna thrive out in the woods. I'll probably come back 50 pounds later than I went in as, if I even survived to begin with. But I really don't like how they portray the word intelligence in this, because like, when you're comparing intelligence, are you talking about Richard Dawkins and comparing him with Albert Einstein, or are you comparing Alan Turing with who else? Nikola Tesla? It's like they're different people of different expertises, and you can't really compare them. Or like comparing Neil deGrasse Tyson with Les Strout, a survival expert. So like you can't say some people are smarter than others just because Einstein changed the world with relativity, but Einstein couldn't survive in the woods alone. So like, yeah, it's just something that irritates me a little bit.
It's not simply some creature which would have an IQ akin to a dog.
On the intellect scale, if this is an ape and this is a human,
okay,
they are over here.
Apes humans Bigfoots? Like, is the intelligence of humans and Bigfoots comparable? Like, doesn't mean they're amazing at surviving out in the woods. Doesn't mean humans aren't, but that doesn't mean we're stupid compared to them. We've been to the moon. We've discovered the galaxies. We've discovered the universe is expanding. So, like, we, in the terms of physics and astronomy, because I used to study that when I first started college, we, within the last, I don't know, almost 100 years, not quite 100 years, maybe pushing 100 years, we've learned so much about the universe in those 100 years. And what have Bigfoots done? Survive in the woods? You can't compare intelligences like that. Like, chimpanzees. So, the one lady's like, chimpanzees are here, humans are here. Chimpanzees have superb short-term memory compared to humans, but it's advantageous for them to have better short-term memory than humans. Humans thrive better with better long-term memory and some short-term memory. So, do they mean Bigfoots have better short and long-term memory than humans? Like, what do you mean by intelligence? That is not enough to say they're smarter than us. And the thing with this documentary is they claim Bigfoots are either a dumb ape or interdimensional. There's no in between. Bigfoots are probably just as smart as humans in every way, except for their ability to not launch satellites into space. But does that really make them dumber than us? Like, if they're social, and if they could survive out and they could make pretty simplistic tools, I would argue they're just as smart as humans. Maybe not like modern humans, but they have very similar intelligence to a human. And honestly, chimpanzees and other gorillas, they are very social. They use tools now, and it's like, I don't know, it's like the intelligence argument's kind of dumb. And then the guy's like, are they as smart as a dog? But like, some dogs are way more intelligent than other dogs. I had a dog, my childhood dog. He was a beagle, and I swear this dog was intelligent. Like he made other dogs seem stupid, and I'm probably just saying it because it was my dog, but just to say like they're as smart as a dog, like even if they're as smart as my dog, like my dog got into things I had no idea he would be able to get into, because I feel like he just did a lot of trial and error, and yeah, it's just really, I don't like the argument with the intelligence. Sorry, they had Ron Moorhead talking about how like energy and matter, how energy is like almost, sometimes they say is like, oh, my foot wasn't in frame. They sometimes describe matter as frozen energy, but that's a vast oversimplification of how matter and energy are. They abuse like Einstein's work of relativity with E equals mc squared, but that's the equation E equals mc squared is very taken out of context in this case. So God, my hair's a mess. So in retrospect, the E equals mc squared mass energy equivalence is supposed to be Pythagoreated in some way, which accounts for motion and stuff like that. And yeah, in perfectly flat 3D space or 4D space, whatever, I'm not going to go into the semantics of that. Yeah, a single object of mass m will apply to E equals mc squared when there's no reference frame or anything. But when it's moving through space, and believe it or not, we are moving through space, and if we're not moving through space, because I'm pretty sure some flat earthers will end up on this video, we're moving on the planet. Or the disk, sorry. I didn't want to offend you. But as I was saying, they just really abuse terminology in quantum mechanics and relativity, and I feel like they don't know what they're talking about. And I didn't get my PhD, and I could refute their claims. So I don't know. It's like it's irritating because this is what I studied.
And when you say energy field, what do you mean?
Well, it's a geomagnetic or electromagnetic anomaly. And on any given day, we have more electromagnetic energy on the grounds than we do in the surrounding area.
What do you mean you have more electronic energy? Or electromagnetic energy. I'm going to increase the electromagnetic energy in the surrounding area. Look, I increased the electromagnetic energy. Like, light is just a form of electromagnetic energy. It has photons. And if there's a magnet in my microphone, there's more electromagnetic energy. Like, there could be a billion reasons why something would get detected.
In the House of Mystery.
That House of Mystery is an illusion. There's nothing more to it than, like, there is no gravitational anomaly to it. Yes, gravitational anomalies are a thing, but 99.99999% of the time, a gravitational anomaly is just some kind of illusion.
Bigfoot that comes out of the side.
Again, I was jumping to conclusions.
Researchers who claim they've been doing this for decades and decades and decades, and they've never had anything unusual, paranormal, or supernatural happen around them.
I've been doing this 11 years, and I've had more encounters than I can count where something happened that was beyond the realm of normal. I've seen things that were cloaked in the woods, moving with color that there was nothing there.
So he says he's been doing this for 11 years. I am 26, and I believed in Bigfoot since I was 12. So arguably, I've been doing this longer than him. This documentary is 2025. So yeah, I still have some time on him. Never have I ever had a paranormal experience when it comes to Bigfoot. I honestly don't really believe in ghosts, to be honest. I'm sure there might be a more, like, scientific reasoning to ghosts, which is, it's more like fits into, like, non-linear time, but it's not like tortured souls or anything like that of that nature. But I don't know, him bringing up the cloaked, seeing something cloaked in the woods and then saying, oh, it was a Bigfoot. How do you know? Like, I don't know, like do people really see Bigfoot's cloak in front of them, like they say in this documentary, or are they just really that good at hiding in plain sight, like Occam's razor?
We know something through physics now that we didn't used to know. We know that there were dimensions, and they didn't really understand what a dimension was, but now they pretty much do.
What is M.K. Davis on? We've known what dimensions were since Euclid. Now, maybe he's talking about four dimensions with relativity when there's 3 spatial dimensions and 1 dimension of time. But, like, this is just very buzzwordy in this documentary. Like, they're trying to convince people who don't know much about something and trying to skew their perception of it. And there's only a handful of scientific theories where there are more than 1 dimension, or more than 3 or 4 dimensions. String theory, I believe, has 13 dimensions now, or 11. I can't remember which one it is. That's not my field of expertise, or was my field of expertise. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what they mean. We don't know what dimensions were. We knew what they were for so long. Like, maybe are they talking about maybe M.K. Davis talking about hidden dimensions, but, like, then again, like, we haven't really confirmed they existed. So, as far as we know, there's only 4 dimensions, 3 spatial, 1 time.
One more step and he would be out in the open and I would have full view of him. And he took that last step.
The thing that confused me about this story is, like, I don't want to call this person a liar by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I really want to believe she saw something. But the thing that bothers me about this story is, if the Bigfoot is trying to hide from her, why would it even bother stepping out of the tree line? Well, yeah, she did see it, but you would figure it would just go the other direction. Why would it just step out in front of her, then disappear? Why would it not just disappear when it's out of her view? So that's, like, something confusing to me. So they went on to talk about Skinwalker Ranch, which I'm not going to talk about because it's a can of worms in of itself, and I don't feel like getting into it. But they're talking to this one guy who saw these 2 figures, which don't look like Bigfoots whatsoever, and he sees like a light in the woods or like a line of something, and these creatures come out, and he's talking about them, and he's like terrified that they're gonna attack him, and then there's a jump scare.
It's like,
and then he shines a light, and then these creatures disappear, and I don't know what the relevance is to this documentary when it's on Bigfoot, when these clearly aren't Bigfoot creatures. Is it because there's portals or something? I don't know what's going on about this.
It takes electromagnetic fields, and it tells you if the level is dangerous or you shouldn't be near it, and it's going off. So the level in this area is high enough for it to throw a warning that human beings shouldn't be around here.
Okay. Since some people clearly did not pay attention in high school, or not even high school, middle school, and I hate to bash Scott Carpenter on this, but it is a misnomer that electromagnetic radiation is bad for you. Yes, gamma rays, X-rays, and ultraviolet rays are EM radiation, and they are bad for you. They are ionizing. But so is infrared, but it's not ionizing. Infrared will burn you. But radio, microwave, or visible light has virtually no effect on the human body. And when I mean virtually, I mean none. So people say my iPhone will give me cancer, but they fail to realize if I step outside in the sun, I am getting 1,000 times more energy from the sun than my phone. And, like, I just don't feel like people understand what they're talking about when they talk about electromagnetic fields and stuff like that. And the thing is, they have all this camera equipment near them and near that reader, so of course it's gonna go off. So I don't know. It's just this is just something that has been pissing me off for a very long time, and not even the Bigfoot community, just everywhere in general. Oh yeah, and they say all their camera equipment shut off, and when it turned back on, so they left. Well, shit happens, or did it even happen? Like, yeah. So yeah, there's the documentary, American Sasquatch Man, Myth or Legend, or Man, Myth, Monster. I don't even remember. I'm like very sleep deprived right now. But yeah, just very buzzwordy. This documentary is like it's very well put together, and actually I forgot to mention when they did the jump scare thing. I think that was AI. So fuck you for using AI. I don't fuck with that clinker shit here. Yeah, so I really hope I didn't piss anyone off when I reacted to this documentary, but I wanted to be the lore lodge to this video because I actually know a thing or two about physics and stuff like that, so that's why I did that. That's why I wanted to do it first. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this I hope you like, comment, subscribe, and don't sue me, David Politis.